Hello again, Tom, the well-traveled American. Well, it's 4 February 2026, and it has been a couple of weeks since I've been able to find the time to actually make a video, which is a measure of my own incompetence, I suppose. But that aside, let's get right to it. Today's topic is basically perspective. Russia bombs Ukraine utilities to freeze millions of civilians to death. Well, that's what you do when you're losing the war on the front. With your soldiers, you target civilians. It's called terrorism. It's a well-tried tactic by despots and desperate people who are less than honorable. Mr. Putin fall into that category. We're now just going to continue, and this is nothing new, by the way. We've been attacking, or Putin's been attacking civilians in Ukraine since day one, but we've really kicked it up a notch, as they say. We're going to let winter be our ally and kill off the Ukrainian civilians to force them to a unfavorable negotiation. Perspective. As the East Coast complains about the snow and the cold, myself included, how would your family cope without heat, electricity, water, and sewage for weeks on end? Imagine yourself in Kiev on the, 15th floor of an apartment. You've got no water. You have no heat. You have no electricity. And it isn't just for 20 minutes or 2 days. It's now on weeks. What do? You got to go to the bathroom, I suppose. Well, maybe it's not a problem. You're not drinking anything because there's no water and there's nothing else to be had. So that's where we're at there in Kiev. So, and many other cities across all of Ukraine. So while we're unhappy about our situation here, I want you to think something through. As Americans, we're usually pretty much in a panic if there's no toilet paper. Well, not all of us. I have a bidet at my house. I don't need toilet paper to maintain hygiene. Imagine you open your toilet, and if you have any water in it, it's frozen solid. And you can't go find anywhere to get warm in your house because there is nowhere in your house to get warm, or your neighbor's house for that matter. Or Ukrainians are coping with everything as they do. They're some of the strongest people I've ever met. They're willing to fight and die for their freedom. However, it's pretty ugly when we have to freeze the women and the children in order to force a quote-unquote negotiated settlement. I don't think you're going to be able to negotiate with Mr. Putin. We'll get to that here in a little bit. Turning inward, and while Congress bickers about the budget, as usual, 70-year-old Americans still working to afford their taxes. Welcome to Minnesota, land of 10,000 frauds? I think that's an underestimate. 10,000 lakes, maybe, a little overestimate. 10,000 frauds, probably a underestimate. Not to pick on Minnesota. I'm certain that if we did some serious looking in all the other states, we'd find similar problems. Billions of tax dollars, or as old Carl Sagan would say, and billions and billions of dollars have gone to waste. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Not a good situation there at all. More about perspective. Next, let's have a look at something else. How about, can you keep your word? Demonstrations and protests after 2 fatal shootings by federal agents in Minnesota. Oh my. Look, when you can name the people by name that have been killed, it's not that much of a tragedy. In Iran, thousands were killed. By all reasonable estimates, 20,000. And I know what you're thinking. It's over there. Who cares? Well, I'll tell you what. It goes deeper than that. You don't want to be a humanitarian? Okay. No problem. How about just somebody who's honest? Somebody who's trustworthy? We gave our word to those people at the highest level. We said, we have your back. If any of those protesters are harmed or killed, America will set in motion something you won't like. We're going to come after you. We're going to do something. Well, by all reasonable estimate, 20,000 plus are dead. Just because they wanted a little freedom and because they trusted us. They trusted America that we'd have their back. Well, so far, the big news of the day is we managed to blow up one of their drones that flew at our carrier. Ooh, that'll really change the Ayatollah's mind. And I know, it's tough to bear some personal anguish or some personal sacrifice. Lord knows, if we get engaged in real war over there, the first thing that's going to happen is the oil prices are going to go up. And that means that I'm going to have to spend maybe a whole $1 more a gallon here in the United States. Well, guess what? It's temporary. It's not going to last. And although I absolutely loathe spending even a penny more for fuel, it's worth it because we gave our word. If we're not honorable folks, how can anybody make a deal with anybody who's not honorable? Once again, begging the question, what do I do with Mr. Putin? You think you're going to make a deal with the Ayatollah? You can trust that guy over there, the mullah? It's not going to happen. They haven't kept their word ever. And Putin, he's even worse. It's not going to happen. Negotiation with these people is insane. So here we are, the end of the road here, kind of. History always repeats itself. I always say that, and it's true. Right now, the entire world seriously needs to get some perspective about what's going on. I guess Joe Stalin said it best. When a single man gets killed, it's a tragedy. When 1 million men get killed, it's merely a statistic. So I guess as we suffer the millions, and that's right, there's been over 1 million people got whacked over in Ukraine in the last 4 years. We don't care. It's not our concern, is it? But once again, it comes down to we gave our word. If you can't keep your word, you're pretty much a weasel. So it's time for the United States to quit fiddling while Rome, or in this case, the rest of the world, burns, and get on with the unpleasantries that must unfold. The people who we cannot trust should not be us. I got one last thing for us here. Bear with me a second while I pull this up, because I think it's worth talking about for just a second. We'll just play this little clip. Hopefully we can all hear it. I'll play it for you now.
Send someone to negotiate.
I never negotiated. You mind if I try? Sure. We're sending somebody in to negotiate. Anybody else want to negotiate?
Okay, well, that's it. I think it's time to send somebody else in to negotiate, because our strategy, quite frankly, whether it be with Mr. Putin or the Ayatollah or anyone else in the world, it's not really working out that well. Yeah, I know what you're going to say. Well, we went and got Maduro. That's one guy. We've shot down one drone and captured one dictator and left his vice president in charge. I don't think it's time to run around and spike the football in the end zone, because the game is far from over. We need to get tough with these people, and that's going to involve a little bit of heartburn for us here as Americans. It's temporary. Man up and stop being a wussy. All right, that's my perspective for February 2026. And that's it for today. I'm out of here. Bye.